friends and welcome to another video. My name is Julie and today I'm going to tell you about all of the books that I read in February. So the month of February was a really good reading month for me, I would say personally, because I read 11 books and that is quite a lot for me. Last month I read 12 and that was the most I ever read in a month, so I'm off for a really good start in the new year and I'm still going strong. I don't know how long that will last, probably not longer than March I would guess, but I will enjoy it while it lasts. So at the moment I'm just really enjoying reading and especially enjoy listening to audiobooks. But the books that I'm going to start off with were books that I didn't enjoy as much. And those were 3 Valentine's novellas that I read for a Valentine's Day video that I did. The problem is I'm single at the moment and I wasn't really in a Valentine's mood anyway. So for some reason I thought it might be a fun idea to do that, but I actually didn't enjoy the novellas I read as much. There was one I did enjoy, I think it was called Valentine's Ever After, but the other two, One Day Valentine and Her Valentine Surprise, I didn't enjoy. Actually, it was pretty awful, and if you would like to watch me suffer, which I get if you want to do that, then go watch my reading vlog of these 3 novellas. I think it's actually very funny, to be honest, but I would just like to move on from these and preferably not do it again. So, next book. Because all these Valentine's books were very cheesy, I was just in the mood for something darker afterwards and I thought it would be a good idea to read a mafia romance. And I picked Under Lock by Mariana Zapata for that. This was my first Mariana Zapata book ever, so she's a new to me author. And this book is about Iris and Dexter. Iris moves to Austin and she needs a job, so she starts working at Dexter's tattoo studio. And Iris's brother and Dexter are actually friends and they are in the same motorcycle club. This book was fine, but it wasn't really for me, I would say. And it just wasn't really that special in my opinion. I just thought the whole family drama was very uninteresting and it actually took up a big chunk of the book. And I actually expected there to be more mafia stuff happening, and it really didn't, except for when it served the purpose of Iris being rescued by Dexter. I'm also not a big fan of the whole virginity gets taken by a bad guy who then turns good for you trope, which it's even shocking that this thing is a whole trope, because there are so many books that have this topic. But it kind of gives me the ick, to be honest, and yeah, that's why it just wasn't for me. What I did enjoy about this book though was that it was a slow burn. That was nice for a change. The next book I read in February was Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. And I also gave this book 3 stars, but for entirely different reasons. This book is actually very well written and I think it is a good book. It just deals with very heavy topics. There are severe graphic assault scenes and domestic violence portrayed in this book, and honestly that almost made me stop reading this book because it was just so much and I just couldn't take it anymore. I get that things like that happen, but I don't really want to read about them in books that try to serve an entertainment value, if you understand what I mean. I mean, this book is a novel that is supposed to be a romance and is marketed as a romance, and then I don't understand why, if it's meant to be entertaining, there are so many graphic scenes in it. Because I don't think that's entertaining to read, and it should not be entertaining to anyone. And I don't think it was necessary to get into so much detail to actually bring the plot forward. So if you want to read this one, definitely check out the trigger warnings before that. But I don't only have bad things to say about this book. It was, as I said, really well written. And the love story was actually probably one of the best ones I've read all year. And I really love the 2 main characters. August is just such a good person and I love him. They were awesome. So I think I will definitely be picking up more books by this author, which might not be dealing with the same kind of topic. After finishing that book, I needed something fluffy to read, and I picked up Hook, Line and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, and it did just that. It's the second part of the Ballinger sister series, and it tells the story of Hannah and Fox. They actually met before this book starts, so they met in the small fisherman's town Westport, where Fox lives. He's a fisherman, and at that time Hannah was there to renovate her old father's tavern. And therefore she was actually living there for a few months. And now she's coming back to Westport because the movie production she's actually working on is coming to Westport to film some scenes. Hannah and Fox are friends, which is why she's staying at his place while she's staying in Westport for the film. And slowly but surely, both of them start to realize that they are interested in being more than just friends. But for different reasons, they are not really acting upon it, and they are not really talking about their feelings to each other, for example, because they are friends and they don't want to ruin that. I love friends to lovers as a trope. It's one of my favorite tropes, and it was just very well done in my opinion. I really like the main characters in this one, especially because I already knew them from another book. And I think it was just very believable why they would like and compliment each other very well, even though they were very different people from a very different background. But yeah, it's just so cute. The vibes really did it for me with this one, and that's why I gave it 5 stars. And after that I thought it would be a good idea to change it up a little bit and read something different than romance for once, and I read Counterfeit by Cristianhayne. This book basically tells the story of 2 women setting up a counterfeit handbag scheme. And that's about it. It was very light and entertaining to read about these 2 women's lives and their reasons behind starting this, but there wasn't much more to it, and I thought there was so much potential what could have been done with this story and with the setup, but yeah, it just didn't really happen. The plot twist wasn't really as twisty as it could have been, but I did enjoy the ending of the book. Overall, I wouldn't say it was boring, but it wasn't exciting either, so that's why I also gave it 3 stars. Then I read The Dare by Elle Kennedy, which is part of the Briar You series, a series that I have been really enjoying, and I also enjoyed her other series, the Off-Campus series. They are kind of linked or connected, I don't know. It's all the same. And I love both of the series, but surprisingly, I didn't really love that book. I think it's actually the first one in the series, which I didn't really like. I mean, the story was fine overall and the writing is great as always, but what I really didn't enjoy was that the story was very focused on the main character's body image insecurities. And I mean, like, a lot. I don't mind if it's like a little bit and it's mentioned because it's normal and it's not bad to mention that in books, but if it's like so overly present and you get to hear these thoughts all the time, it can actually be triggering and start messing with your own body image, if you know what I mean. That's definitely not what the author was trying to achieve. I really do not like the thought that being with a guy will make you feel better about yourself because now you are worth having. And worth having is an actual quote from the book. I mean, the main character thinks it. Doesn't mean that the author thinks it, but you know what I mean. It's just not very sensible to write something like this. So yeah, I hope the next part of the series is better and I will enjoy it again. The writing style was, as I said, still quick and easy to read, and there were a lot of fun and cute scenes in this. This is also why I ended up giving it 3 stars in the end, because it wasn't awful, it just could have been much better. Then we have Gunslinger by Lisa Lang Blackney, and I actually found the cover which has the title on the cover, because I already talked about this book in my football romance react video. And the main character is called Saint, which was actually what was on the other cover. But yeah, the book is called Gunslinger. And Saint is a star quarterback. He gets assigned Sabrina as his accountant or something like that. She takes care of his finances. And that's how they get closer to each other. This is a very short and fast-paced book with a lot of steamy scenes. The main character is kind of like an alpha male and he's very possessive towards her. If you're into that, I'm not really, so it was meh. But okay, I don't mind it either. But the book isn't like very deep, it's just a quick fun read. And for that it was well done. Then I also read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, which was such a good book. I did not expect this from the title and cover, but this one was actually pretty deep. What I did expect from the title and cover though was that it was so sweet, oh my god. The main character Stacy is an ice skater and the main character Nate is a hockey player. And for reasons they now have to share a rink. And when Stacy's skating partner gets injured because of that, Nate has to step in as her partner. Obviously there's a lot of tension between these two, but Stacy really doesn't want a relationship and they have to focus on ice skating and hockey, and there's just a lot more stuff going on in their lives and it's actually really interesting. I love the way the two main characters were portrayed in this and also how they overcame the obstacles on the way. The way the story progressed was not formulaic at all, it felt really fresh and memorable, so that's why it was a 4-star read for me. The last book I read in February was also a hockey romance and it's called Play to Win. That was a really fun read. The two main characters, Theo and Lacey, meet in a bar and decide to help each other with their problems they have going on in their lives and get married in Vegas on a whim, just 4 hours after meeting each other. And the book kind of tells the story how they then move to California and deal with the problems they said they were going to help each other with, and I was expecting this to be quite trashy, to be honest. Not to get as invested as I was in the end. I really have no idea how the author pulled that off, but I gave it 4 stars because of that. So that concludes my reading month of February. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments which books of these you have already read. And I'm so excited for March and for all of the fun books that I'm going to be reading. I'm finally going to be reading some more fantasy again and also maybe a thriller. So stay tuned for that. I will see you in my next video. Bye!